Hi, and welcome to Mr. Garofalo's podcast. In this episode, we are looking at arithmetic sequences, and we'll be taking a look at example 4 and 5. So in example 4, we're given an explicit rule for an arithmetic sequence. The rule says a of n, which would mean any step number or any term number, is equal to a sub 1, which would be the first term, plus, actually there's something extra in here that we don't need. That a should not be there. It would be equal to the sum of the first term plus 1 less than the term that you're looking for times 3. So there's a couple of things we know about this sequence. By seeing this 3 here on the end, we know that the common difference in this sequence is a 3. That means if we wrote it out, we would have adding 3 to each of the previous term. Then if you look at part A, we're told that the first term is a 10. So if we know the first term and we know the common difference, then it's pretty easy to write out the first 5 terms in the sequence. They would start out with 10, and then we would add 3. So the first term would be 10, then 13, 16, 19, and 22. In part B, we're asked to find a sub 40. They're asking us for the 40th term. So we would use a sub 40 is equal to 10, again the first term, plus 40 minus 1 times 3. So I've replaced term number with 40. Replaced the first term with 10. And then we would evaluate. 40 minus 1 is 39. So we'd be doing 39 times 3. Now this makes sense from class because remember, when we made our table, the number that we multiplied by was always 1 less than the step number. So if our step number is 40, we're going to multiply by 39. We simplify this further by multiplying 39 times 3, get 117, and add the first term, 10. So its answer is 127. Let's look at example 5. Seats in an auditorium follow a pattern where each row has a set number of seats more than the previous row. Well, this is really important information right here. A set number of seats more than the previous row. That is your clue that this is going to behave like an arithmetic sequence. So what's difficult for students often here is that they don't tell us this is an arithmetic sequence outright, but they are describing something that behaves like an arithmetic sequence. Well, they go on to tell us that the first row has 6 seats and the fourth row has 18 seats. How many seats are in the last row, row 20? So let's start by writing out what we know. We know a sub 1 would be 6. The first row has 6 seats. We don't know a sub 2. We don't know a sub 3. But we know a sub 4 would be 18 because the fourth row has 18 seats. Now, because this behaves like an arithmetic sequence, we must add the same amount to from the previous term to get to the next term. So we need to think about what value we could add onto 6 to get a2, and then we need to add that same value onto a2 to get to a3, and then from a3 to a4. Why don't you pause the video and see if you can figure out what value this is. If you said 4, you were right. 6 plus 4 would give 10. 10 plus 4 would give 14. And 14 plus 4 would give 18. So we now know that the common difference in this function is 4. Now remember, the common difference sort of behaves like the slope. When we write our explicit rule, we're going to be using the common difference. And if we wrote an explicit rule, if we treated this as a continuous linear function, 4 would behave as the slope. So remember, we know a sub 1 is 6. We have the common difference, and we have the first term. we have enough to write an explicit rule. So at the top of this page, there's a general explicit rule formula for arithmetic sequences. It says a sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. So we're going to write a formula for this that would say a sub n equals 6 plus n minus 1 times 4. So what I simply did was replace d and a sub 1 with the values that we figured out over here. Now we can evaluate this for the 20th row. So a sub 20 would be equal to 6 plus 20 minus 1 times 4. So once again, notice that we're multiplying by 1 less than the term number. The term number is 20. We're multiplying by 19. So this would be 6 plus 76. So the 20th row has 82 seats in it. I hope this is helpful, and I'll see you in class.